Hey, I'm Baker Betty. I'm a baking educator and I am currently making some caramel sauce, and I thought it would be good to quickly talk through kind of the process of making a super simple caramel sauce because it is extremely easy. It's only 2 ingredients. It is sugar and cream in equal quantities by volume. So if you're gonna caramelize a cup of sugar, you're gonna do a cup of cream. Now, the method is also super simple. You're just gonna caramelize some sugar. Once the sugar has gotten to the desired color that you like for your caramel, then you're just gonna pour in some at least room temperature or even warm cream, and you're gonna just whisk it until it comes together into a nice smooth caramel sauce. Now, there are 2 methods for doing this. There is the dry method and the wet method for caramelizing sugar. So the dry method for caramelizing sugar is gonna go a lot faster. So you're just gonna put sugar in the pan on a low heat, let it all melt, and then eventually it will start caramelizing. The dry method is really nice because it goes so quickly, but it is a lot easier to burn your sugar by using the dry method. So I actually prefer to use the wet method, especially if I'm doing a large batch of sugar to caramelize. And the wet method is where you just add some water into the equation. The way the wet method works is that the sugar will dissolve into the water and kind of become a sugar syrup before the water then evaporates off and the sugar will start caramelizing. So it gives you a little more time. It's a little easier to not burn the mixture because sometimes, like if your heat is uneven and you're doing the dry method, some of the sugar will start melting and caramelizing before the other parts are even melted. So it just kind of like buys you a little more time. It's a little more foolproof. Now, the amount of water actually doesn't matter because the sugar will not caramelize until all of the liquid has evaporated out. So I just add enough water until all of the sugar is saturated with water, and then that's enough. So I have this sugar going right now. This is wet method. All of the water has not yet evaporated off. You do need to be careful about stirring with whichever method you use. You don't want to do a whole lot of stirring. Sometimes if I feel like it's a little uneven, I will do like some light swirling around. But the other thing I like to do is to have a pastry brush with a little bit of water that I can kind of wash down the sides of the pot if I need to, because if a lot of sugar crystals get up on the side of the pot and then one drops down into the mixture as it is starting to caramelize, it will crystallize and you won't have a smooth caramel. Okay, so all of my water has evaporated out now. My sugar is just barely starting to caramelize. It's still pretty light in color, but when you're at this point, don't walk away. Stay here, stay here, stay here. Wait until it reaches the color you like. I like a pretty dark brown color. I like a really deep, rich caramel flavor. And then you need to have your cream measured out and ready to go. As soon as it hits the color you like, you're gonna pour in all the cream. And you notice my pot's really large. You wanna make sure it's pretty large because that cream is gonna really bubble up. So I kind of like pour it in and step back for a second. And then I will start whisking until it's nice and smooth. Okay, we are there. So I'm gonna go ahead and pour all my cream in and just kind of step back for a second because it's gonna really bubble up and a lot of steam coming off of it. And then once it's not so aggressive, then I will come in and start whisking. So I just let this continue boiling until it looked like it was starting to thicken up. And it took probably about 10 minutes because this is kind of a larger batch. And then I added some salt and now that's it. It's just gonna cool down. It will thicken up more as it cools at room temperature. It should be kind of like a drizzly texture, but if you keep it in the refrigerator, it is going to be like kind of this really, really thick texture. This is an older batch I made. But you can just warm it up if you need it, to be, if you have extra and you keep it in the fridge, you can take it out and warm it up if you need it to be softer.